Well, hello there. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Marilyn's Cafe Society radio show. It's the Wednesday. How about it? Another Wednesday with Marilyn's Cafe Society right here on YouTube. Well, guys, I don't know what happened to Saturday's show. Yeah, this past Saturday, I recorded it. Um, the video was there. As I was uploading, it suddenly vanished. Now it still shows that I have it, even though I attempted to delete it because for some reason I just have not been able to upload. So I reached out to YouTube. I went through some steps that they recommended to help me perhaps solve this issue, but the show has vanished. My birthday show has vanished, everybody. My Saturday show. So, unfortunately, we just don't have a show for this past Saturday. I'm going to try to recap some of the things that I talked about on Saturday during the show. As you can see, there are some remnants of my birthday celebration behind me. But nevertheless, here we are on this Wednesday. Of course, it's June 3rd, the first Wednesday in the month of June 2020. And yeah, the country is still in an uproar. It's all so surreal, right? It's unbelievable. We jumped from COVID to this, and it's just so unreal. I don't know. I have been, thinking about this thing and trying to draw some understanding and asking for some revelation knowledge and all of that to put things in perspective and make sense of it all. And all I can think about is the civil rights movement, and how it has taken. It took a long time for a lot of wrongs to be righted, right, in the civil rights movement. And so I think, and what I've heard someone once call the civil rights movement, they used the analogy of it being like a symphony. And I honestly believe that we are now at that crescendo, at the highest point in this symphony, this thing called civil rights, to sort of put the period or the exclamation point at the end, and to once and for all eradicate racism. Yeah, it can be done just like this, at least by law, and eventually, mindsets will change. And I believe that if the leadership in this country across all sectors of society agree and implement and institute change in that regard, even if it means getting people out of the way, firing people who may have racist attitudes and beliefs. It can be done. We can eradicate racism once and for all. And of course, I say in the flip of a switch, but I just mean in the sense of the commitment to eradicate it on all levels. And I think that that's what people want to see. Of course, starting with this criminal justice system and law enforcement and how they do things, and then bringing it to the educational system, the broken educational system, at least in the minority communities, the poor communities, and then all the way up to financial freedom. Financial freedom. That's what needs to happen. And so we just, we a lot of times don't like the way we get to the end, but here we are. Here we are. There's a lot of hurt and pain. And a lot of times when there's going to be real change, that's what comes with it. So we're going to continue to pray. We're going to continue to keep a positive outlook. We are going to trust that, once and for all all involved will have a seat at the table and we get this thing worked out. All right, and so of course this is all in relation to what happened with George Floyd last week. I don't even want to go back and talk about it. It's just too painful. But in the midst of all of this, we still have coronavirus out there, everyone. So I have some updated information for you. As of today, noon today, there were 6,441,000, million cases worldwide, just over 441 million cases worldwide of the coronavirus, and 380,000 deaths, just over 380,000 deaths. Here in the United States, we are just under 1.9 million cases and just under 108,000 deaths. And there's this tiny country called Saint Pierre and Miquelon, or Miquelon, which is reporting one case of the coronavirus and 0 deaths. Isn't that something? They just have one case of the coronavirus and 0 deaths. Now, Saint Pierre and Miquelon is located in a area that sits in the northwestern Atlantic Ocean near the Canadian province of Newfoundland and Labrador. It has a population of about 6,000 people, and it's self-governing territorial overseas collectivity of France. So there's 2 islands that are connected, and they're called Saint Pierre and Miquelon. And it looks beautiful. I went online to look at some of the pictures. It looks beautiful. But yeah, they just have the one case of coronavirus and 0 deaths. All right. So since most of the United States eased lockdown mandates about 2 to 3 weeks ago, certain areas in California, Wisconsin, and Arkansas, and even more states are seeing spikes in cases. And some areas are even reporting the highest numbers they've seen since the pandemic hit here in the United States. And here are a few areas that we need to continue to keep an eye on. And, you just be safe, everybody. I just say, continue to be safe. I know, there have been some reports that certain people are more vulnerable to it. Older you are, the more at risk you are. The other underlying health conditions that you have, the more at risk you are. And then, of course, they threw in what they always do, that African Americans and Latinas and people of color are more at risk as well. So, but even if you don't fall into any of those categories, my recommendation is that you continue to wear the mask, keep yourself safe and protected, and have enough respect for those that you're going to be around, and wear your mask. All right, so in Alabama, they have seen a surge in COVID cases. They reached an all-time high just last week, nearly 2 weeks after the state reopened. And their number of cases in the last 7 days is 2,000 new cases within the last 7 days. Arkansas has seen a consistent rise in cases over the past 30 days. Currently, there are at least 1,830 active cases of the COVID-19 in their state. California is another state. As of last Friday, that state has seen a 25% increase in confirmed cases. As a result, some public health officials have walked back some of their previously loosened guidelines. They are now at least 104,000 confirmed cases in California, new cases. North Carolina has seen a 40% increase in cases over the past 2 weeks, which reported its highest numbers of COVID-linked hospitalizations and deaths since the pandemic began. And again, this is since the reopening a couple of weeks ago. Virginia is another state that has seen their COVID cases spike in the last week or so. They have 40,477 confirmed cases of COVID-19. Wisconsin just saw its highest single day increase last week along with deaths. There are currently 17,000 confirmed cases in this state. And just bear in mind, just a couple weeks ago, the Wisconsin's Supreme Court struck down the state's stay-at-home order. All right. So again, yes, everything is reopening. Yes, yes, yes. And we're still mandated to wear those masks. And even if we weren't mandated to wear them, I still suggest that we wear the mask, everybody. And just because we're wearing the mask doesn't mean we can get close. We still have to keep that 6 feet distance between us as well. Keep our hands washed and all that good stuff. All right, so our unemployed, the number of unemployed as of today is now around 42 million individuals. And that's where we are with COVID news. All right, so, and there's vaccines on the way, for those who want to take them, and they're still working this thing out with how do you properly treat them. I got an interesting video via one of my social medias a couple of days ago that, I don't know, there was this alleged healthcare expert speaking who said that the coronavirus wasn't really a virus, that it's a bacteria. So I'm not the scientific person, the medical professional in that regard, but it sounds credible. And if I had the time, I would actually do the research, and maybe I can find somebody who will. But yeah, they were talking. This medical professional was talking, and they did some research and discovered that it wasn't really a virus, that it was a bacteria. So I don't know, but anyway, there's so much floating around out there. Our heads are spinning, right? We can't keep up with it all. And then you throw in the conspiracy theories and all of that. It's just a mess. But I still think some people's pants are on fire out there regarding this COVID-19 situation, if you know what I mean. All right, in other news, Amazon is offering permanent employment to 70% of the temp workers that they hired during the pandemic. Netflix is buying Hollywood's historic Egyptian theater. That's some good news, I guess, for entertainment. They're probably going to use it to do some of their self-produced movies, right? Or maybe use it as a theater to show some of their movies. I don't know. The NCAA recently released guidelines to help schools bring back athletes to the campus. That's another worry, that a lot of folks are going to have as we get through summer. Well, some people already are dealing with the issues of where are their children going to be now that we've reopened, and some people are going back to work, and kids are home, camps aren't really opened, or they're half open, which means they're not taking nearly as many children as they would on a regular summer. So it's just a mess. And now we have to, they have to think about how they're going to handle the school year, the new school year. Are the kids going to go back to school, or are they going to continue to take classes online? Because we know that kids can be petri dishes, right? We want to keep teachers safe. We also want to keep the children safe as well. So we got to figure all this stuff out. And I hope that this COVID-19 just disappears. I really do. All righty. And so now we're going to go to our cafe talk, which is tied to last week's blog, where I posed the question. Or actually, I say take care of yourself in the blog. And at the end, I post the question, what does taking care of yourself really look like? And what sparked that question was, as I've shared with you guys, I lost my dad recently, and his last some of the last few times that we had together before he passed, he said some things to me, and one of them, he put that, anybody who knows my dad, he puts that frown on his face when he gets serious, and he looked me in my eye, and he said, baby, you take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. So sometimes I just hear that, and I know how to take, I know the basics of taking care of myself. First thing we think about is physically, right? Because we are, man is physical, um, emotional, and spiritual, right? Or physical, psychological, and spirit, however you want to put it. Well, the soul. The soul consists of our emotions and our personality and our psyche. So spirit, body, and soul, or the spiritual, the physical, and the emotional, social, or the soul. So, physically, I know to eat healthy. I know to get enough sleep. I know to try to exercise regularly. I know to avoid drugs and alcohol. And I've learned some techniques on managing stress. I know, and this is so important. I'm trying to get better in this regard, to have those regular medical checkups and, thank goodness I don't have any symptoms of any kind, but it's still good to just go have yourself checked from time to time, right? So we need to do that. That's part of my new thing for taking care of the physical. And obviously the basis of keeping your physical appearance up, your grooming and making sure you bathe and, you dress well, and that's subjective depending on the person, right? What's dressed up to some people may not be dressed up to others. By the way, speaking of that, you like my new my summer cut and the color for the summer? Yeah, I turned my silver to gold. How about it? My silver is now gold. And it's not as short as it looks because I did the little scrunchy thing to make the hair stay really close to the scalp. But I just wanted something cool and refreshing for the summer. Now, you guys, if anybody knows me, you know that next week when I come on, I may have beautiful braids in my hair. But for now, we're going with this one. And I like it. It took me a minute to get used to it. When I first cut it, I didn't put the new color in because I wanted to just stay chemical free. I wanted it to all be natural. But I thought, there's going to be a lot of sunshine and, maybe I should lighten it up a little bit. And so I went ahead and added a little color and made my silver gold. So I like it. I hope you guys like it too. All right, so anyway, what does taking care of yourself look like? And we just talked about the physical. Oh, and by the way, because we're going to be wearing face mask, everybody, let me show you this really fast. So we're all been forced to wear face masks all this time. And now that we're going to be going back out in public, we got to wear our face mask. And I was thinking, well, after I had cut my hair and styled it and everything, I was like, wow, with the face mask, the only thing that people can really see now is your hair and your eyes. So, the focus, ladies, is going to be on our eyes now. So I thought, that maybe I'll do this Saturday or in the coming weeks, but we can really get creative with our eye makeup since the eye is going to be the focus now because we have to wear these face masks. So anyway, I did most of you know I've gotten away from wearing a lot of makeup in recent years, but I did do something with my eyes. I put a little bit more a different shade of eyeliner on, some blue. I went blue because my top is blue. So and I thought that would kind of bring my eyes out a little bit. But I've been looking at some of the stores recently, and they have some beautiful eye makeup out now. I mean, well, I've always had the glitter stuff, but I'm going to show you some other types of ways you can dress up your eyes, particularly since, again, half of our face is not covered because of the face mask. So all eyes are on the eyes now, right? All eyes on the eyes. So let's just dress them up. We'll talk a little bit more about it in some of the upcoming shows. But yeah, just taking care of our physical, taking care of ourselves, taking care of our physical. And then, of course, there's the spiritual, the praying and the meditating and reading the Holy Scripture and finding ways to beat stress and to relax and to connect with ourselves and to connect with God. Taking care of our spiritual, we have to do that because it gives us a strength that, an inner strength that can help us, get through life and make decisions and things of that nature. So when I think about taking care of myself, I try to focus on all of that. And then, of course, the social and the emotional, or the intellect and psychological, which consists of the soul. And so, when we think about our emotion, well, let's talk about social first, because that is so important. And man, have we found out how important it is since this lockdown and quarantining and all that stuff has been going on in the world with us, right? So it's just so important to connect with others, to take care of yourself by connecting with others, because human beings need other human beings to thrive and survive. Notice how you feel sometimes, especially when you are in the midst of those that you love and who love you back. They just give you an energy that you need. So make sure that you connect with others. Use the phone and text and the Zoom and all those things that we talked about in another show, in terms of how do we get through this stay-at-home order that we're just kind of halfway coming out of. Now that things are opening back up, you can get back active with clubs and organizations and social institutions to again give you a sense of belonging, to keep you connected with other inner beings, and to give you a sense of meaning and purpose. Also do the things that you enjoy doing, like dancing, which ties into the physical because that's a form of exercise, and singing, if you like singing, if you like playing board games, or working in the yard, or painting, or reading, or dismantling a computer and putting it back together. Whatever brings you joy, do that, so that you can have a sense of connection with self along with other individuals. Emotionally, again, we got to have some kind of satisfaction in life, everyone. And so when we take care of ourselves emotionally, that means that we're creating our own joy by doing all those things that I just talked about with you. But I think above all, what does it look like to take care of yourself in this regard, and in terms of our emotion? And that is to, again, make sure that we have love in our life, and all elements of love. There's all kinds of love out there. There's the agape love, which is the unconditional love, the parent kind of love, the brotherly, sisterly kind of love, the love for all mankind. There's the affectionate love, where you just like your neighbor. You love your neighbor. You love your co-workers. There's the self-love, which is so important. We have to learn to love ourselves. And of course, the storge love, which is familiar love, pragma love, enduring love, and by all means, get you some eros love, some romantic love. Someone that you can love and love on, and someone who will love and love you back, and love on you back, right? So that is important. But then I was thinking, take care of yourself, particularly in the midst of all this mess that's going on in the country, with the uprising, and the civil unrest, and the rioting and the protesting. And you think about those protesters, they are taking care of themselves, right? They're speaking up for themselves. They're standing up for themselves, and not just themselves, but it extends out into you know, the family of people that they're representing, taking care of themselves, having a voice, you know, protesting when you need to, which is what they're doing. And you know, doing those things to love enough, to take care of yourself enough. And by the way, when you take care of yourself, you're taking care of others as well, because when you are all that you can be, you will automatically project that onto others, and indirectly affect their well-being as well. So when I think of all this that we're going through, and that big question of what does it look like to take care of yourself, I think of what I'm saying. You know, obviously not the violence, you know, because we know that there's people being put out there with the protesters who are doing all this other stuff, you know, just to shine a bad light on the whole movement that is happening for the benefit of African American people, people of color. But to just say, hey, the time is now. We are here. We're clearly not going anywhere. And we deserve better. And we want better. And we don't want to talk about it anymore. We want it now. And I think that is the ultimate example of what taking care of yourself looks like. And so the mantra for my show is to live, to laugh, and to love. And of course, I love to keep my show light and informative, but sometimes the world throws us a curveball and says, hey, this hasn't been finished yet. This hasn't been dealt with yet. And so, you know, I have to bring you some serious conversations sometimes. And so here we are. The mantra of the show is to live, to laugh, and to love. And I also say to evoke change. All right. All right, everybody. Well, I think that's it. Of course, we're in June. July's right around the corner. Doesn't look like this Christmas in July effort is going to work. The Christmas in July promo is going to work, but I'm staying positive. So if it does, or if you're interested and, you know, wanting another opportunity vehicle to get the word out about your business, your brand, your product, your service, certainly reach out to me, and you can become a part of the Christmas in July promotion. Just send an email to producer@MarylandsCafeSociety.com, producer@MarylandsCafeSociety.com, and we'll certainly get the information to you. Also, if you have some show ideas or you want to be a guest on the show, you can send an email to producer@MarylandsCafeSociety.com. Remember, folks, if you want to check out the blog, you can go to Maryland's Cafe Society on WordPress. You can also find me on the social media platforms: Twitter, Maryland's Cafe Social, Facebook, Maryland's Cafe Society, and also I have the website, Maryland'sCafeSociety.com, and of course right here on YouTube, Maryland's Cafe Society on YouTube. Before we go, I want to tell you what love is. And typically on a Saturday, I would not do Love Is, but because Saturday's show disappeared, I'm going to give you Saturday's Love Is. And love is feeling good about yourself. I'm not kidding. And this all tied into our cafe talk, right? Which is, what does taking care of yourself look like? And part of it is feeling good. See? Feeling good about yourself. So there you have it. All right. Remember, everyone, if you don't do anything else for the rest of this week, be sure that you live, you laugh, and you love. As always, it's a pleasure and a privilege to hang out with you. And be sure to tune in on Saturday. We'll have more for you on Saturday. And of course, the blog will be up no later than Thursday of this week on Marilyn's Cafe Society on WordPress. All right, everybody. Peace. We'll talk again.